Good morning, good afternoon, happy Friday, and thank goodness it's Friday. It was an awesome week, and we ended the week off on a massive note with TWMP. Twin Peaks, funny enough. So let's go ahead and break it down. The most obvious stocks in the market today. How did I find them? How do you even find the obvious stocks? What does that even mean? We're going to break it all down. Every entry that I took this morning, I went 4 for 4 this morning with a 100% win rate on TWMP, and nothing else really fit the bill. So this morning did really well. As always, came in and I made my pre-market watch list based on what we had in pre-market, and we had TWMP and PMN. Nothing else looked good. It was a pretty uneventful pre-market. You looked around and you had this fat BB, which thank goodness this did not look good this morning because I don't know if I could have went into the morning saying fat BB over and over, but nonetheless, it didn't look good. Of course, put in place this high yesterday afternoon, which pops at 4 a.m. Again, as you can see, puts in place this higher high, then breaks down, rejects, backside move. No bueno. Then, of course, you had TCGL, which, of course, I warned not to touch today. This is a dang death wish, y'all. This thing yesterday was an absolute nasty one. This thing goes gapping up on hardly any volume from 10 bucks all the way to 135 bucks. Halts down, resumes at 50, gaps up and out. It's just a Chinese pump it up in a nutshell. So there just wasn't a whole lot going into market open today that looked good. Of course, VIVS made the move back in pre-market, then broke down going into the open. RPGL was on last night's watch list. It already made the move early this morning too at 8 a.m. So I'm like, well, shoot, man, everything's already moved. So what do you do? What looks good going into the bell? What do I focus on? Well, it's pretty simple. You focus on what looks most obvious, what looks best to the largest group of people, right? So going into the open, we had two stocks. We had PMN and we had TWMP. Now, PMN was a little bit on the higher price side. And so I was watching it, but at the same time, here's the issue. We have this flat top form off the high, and then we have this, again, high here to lower high. So we know we can't really take a pullback on the side of the open like I initially wanted because we have no range. We'd have to get a breakout of this tightening channel. And the problem with that, you take a breakout here, and guess what? You're buying up into these sellers from pre-market up into the highs. And so again, just it's not a good setup. So left this alone. It would have had to have broken over the flat top high if I wanted to even consider this. And of course, it did not do that, so no trade. So the only setup that was actually left standing was TWMP. We had a lot of stocks today, these bankruptcy pumps. Like I said, you had Fat Brands, which was up on delisting bankruptcy news. Then, of course, you have TWMP that was up on bankruptcy and delisting news. So that was sort of the theme for the day were these bankruptcy pumps. And so what we had here, I'll show you on the 5-minute chart so you can see it a little bit easier. I'll show you in the 3-minute time frame. That way you see a little more detail. And so this one actually was the only stock I traded today, but it was huge. And it got me my biggest day of the week today. And for whatever reason, Fridays have been really fruitful. They've been so good. And so look at this. We have this high here to the next swing high. Drag her on over. You can see what we have where it tries to start breaking trend, putting in place this. Look at this, higher low. It's looking pretty dang good. I take it for the breakout of this tightening wedge into market open. And man, I could not have asked for a better move at the bell. We had the same thing happen last week on KUST. If you watched last Friday's video, we went 100% win rate on that as well to end last week. And then we did it again today too on TWMP. The same exact stuff, pretty much an identical setup. And this was actually cleaner than KUST. And so we come into the open. You can see here, we break up over the 9 EMA and 20 EMA. Price pulls back, and that's where I nail my entry, right? So you can see here, price beneath the 9 and 20, basing beneath VWAP. Well, then we consolidate, break back above VWAP and the 9 and 20 EMA, giving me perfect confluence. I nailed the entry, risking down here off of VWAP, roughly about 5 cents a share of risk. And at the market open, I get a quick squeeze to 75 and to 80 cents. And so I'm trimming. Overall, my average exit there between all of my fills was 68 cents. But I did get some, I was trimming all the way up into 75 and 77 to 80. And so average on that was, again, 70 or 60 cents, excuse me, to 75 cents. And so I'm risking 5 cents and I made 15. All right, cool. All right, we're sitting here healthy, man. Could not have asked for a better start. And then we have, of course, these highs back from pre-market. Price pulls back off the 9 EMA. Look at this. We see buyers step back in aggressively. And so what do? I take a re-entry. Stop loss goes at the bottom of this last candle. And so guess what? Again, I'm looking for the range back to daily highs, which as we know, let me show you the daily chart, which as we know, again, it doesn't get much simpler than this. So on the daily chart, look at this. We had range right here to 80, what is that, 90 cents off that previous daily high. Dude, it doesn't get much easier. Look at this. And so I'm looking for the target range of 90 cents to the upside. And guess what? Again, I come in here, I'm risking, look at this, entry was 69, stops at 65, 4 cents of risk, we'll say 5 to round, and I get a move here to 85 cents again. And so again, the second entry here is another 15-cent play. So I came in 15 cents on the first one, 15 cents on the second one. So 2 back-to-back 3R trades on TWMP to start. And then it does the same thing. It pulls back again. I take a very small trade here. Again, the dip off of the 9 EMA, just playing momentum here, playing the pullbacks. And then we have here where it tries to get breaking out. Look at this, where it puts in place this tightening wedge. It breaks out. I take a quick entry for the pop-up off the 9 EMA again. I get a quick little profit, as you can see, with just the small size position here, smallest one of the morning, to see if we couldn't get squeezing back up through these highs. Again, we see sellers coming off the highs, took a full exit, and from there, that was my last trade of the day. But this is all you need. You stick to the A-plus setups. Less is more. I came in, knocked these out, 2 big wins at market open, and that's all I freaking needed. So, man, I could not have asked for a better morning. Just like KUST, where KUST, I had that profit cushion from pre-market going into the open. Then I played it again after market open, back for profit. The same exact thing happened here on TWMP. And again, I could not be more happy with how I played this. So that's my Friday. There isn't a whole lot more to say about that than that. And that's really all there is to say. There wasn't any other obvious stocks. You look over at, for example, you had GITS. Was it GITS? You had GITS moving. This thing was way too thin and way too spready. I avoided this because it was just way too thin. It had a 10-cent spread all up in this range. Then there was Feed again today, which Feed was the one I had for a really big win yesterday. By this time, I'd already said I was done. I was running a Q&A in the live stream with my students, and so I didn't play this again. It made a move here, but of course, at this point, I say that I'm done right here for the day. I'm not going to go and play it here and go back on what I had just said about being done, because once I'm mentally shut down, I've got to be done. Far too often, I've seen that go the wrong way. So I don't want to be frustrated or give back profits. But nonetheless, a very quick recap video today, but 100% accuracy, focusing on the most obvious stock, the stock that looks great to the crowd out there. Again, it looks the best to the largest number of people is the obvious stock. That's what you want to focus on. That's where you're going to find that largest pool of buyers. And then sit on back, don't give it back, step away, and enjoy the rest of your day. That being said, that is my Friday. Quick little recap. I know not a whole lot to talk about because it just was one stock this morning. But hopefully you had an awesome way to end your week. Hopefully you learned a thing or two from this video. If you did, please hit that subscribe button for daily content just like this. And make sure to claim your 7-day free trial down in the description below, where you can trade alongside me in real time every single day and get alerts, watch lists, chat room access, scanners, news, Momentum AI, Momentum Journal, and so much more. I know it's a mouthful. But that being said, have an amazing weekend. I will catch you back on Monday in that live trading stream, or back here if you don't join. But hopefully you do, so we have some fun on Monday. Be safe. I'll see you later.